sun-dried tomatoes are actually a spice. And so sorry, but I didn't mean to add to any of the confusion with you guys, but today we are going to see 3 amazing unknown health benefits of today's spice, and that is sun-dried tomatoes. Now, whether it's a fruit or vegetable or a spice, make sure you use tomatoes very generously, because it has a lot of great health benefits in just a small amount, and it helps you so much. But welcome to our spice series. It's week 52 and it's the last week of our spice series, and it's been a year. We did our spice series with 52 spices on our chart, so you can go and visit on our website, also on our Facebook page here or on our YouTube channel, that you'll get all the great health benefits of the today's spice and other spices. So please stay tuned. So let's explore 3 unknown health benefits of sun-dried tomatoes. Welcome to Sona Motivates. We motivate you to eat healthy, be happy, and enjoy every moment. So what exactly is sun-dried tomatoes? As the name suggests, it's a tomato dried in sunlight. But then how is it made, and how it can be helpful and how to use it, that's what we are going to explore today. Now, sun-dried tomatoes are characteristics delicacy of Italy, and it is believed that Latin Italians actually used to dry their tomatoes in the summer sun, and then they used to store it when the tomatoes were excess. They used to dry it, and then they used to store it to use it in the winter and in later in the year. The most important part is the moisture is taken away with this process by drying the tomatoes, but the nutrition and all the health benefits are still intact, and that's how the sun-dried tomatoes are they are dried in the sun. Now, it's a very tricky process to dry it in the sun, because it needs that specific temperature to dry it, and sometimes it takes 4 to 14 days to attain that perfection, because even if there is a little bit of moisture left, then it is very prone to having multiplying the bacteria, and it might be actually dangerous than being any kind of help for the health. So you have to be very careful that not even a little bit of moisture is left in the sun-dried tomatoes. Now, you can buy them from the store, because you easily get them these days, or you can make them on your own. So no matter what, sun-dried tomatoes are packed and they have that super concentrated elements with all the helpful vitamins and minerals and phytochemicals like coumaric acid and chlorogenic acid and tomatine, and many of them. And they also have all these anti-disease properties. So that's how these sun-dried tomatoes are. Now, the most important part I left behind was that it has lycopene, which we know that the fresh tomatoes have, and how helpful they are. Now, lycopene gives this very rich red color to the tomatoes, and also it is in the watermelon as well. But several studies have been shown, and they have highlighted all the great health benefits of lycopene, and we will explore them together in our health benefits soon, but then just at this moment you have to know that lycopene is very beneficial in fighting against all the diseases like cancer and heart disease, and for osteoporosis, and even Alzheimer's and dementia. Now, lycopene actually is very readily available when it is consumed with any kind of fat. So make sure, if you have any kind of tomato based product, or if you are having tomatoes, then make sure you have some kind of fat with it, maybe avocado or any kind of oil, or even nuts. So our body is is easily able to get all the benefits of these lycopene from the tomatoes when they are added with any kind of fat. And our body cannot manufacture lycopene like few of the other nutrients which it can. So you have to get the lycopene from the food. And the best part is more than 85, so I think it's approximately 85% of lycopene we get it from the tomato products, tomatoes or any tomato based product. So it can be pasta sauce, or it can be ketchup, or it can be tomato soup. So make sure you use tomatoes very generously. Now, according to researchers, sun-dried tomatoes are they have the most levels of lycopene. Now imagine for 10 tomatoes, if you for making 1 ounce of sun-dried tomatoes, you have to have 10 tomatoes. You have to dry them. Okay, so you get such the benefit of 10 tomatoes just by using 1 ounce of sun-dried tomato. So isn't it great that you can use just 1 ounce of sun-dried tomato and you have all the health benefits worth 10 tomatoes. That's how helpful and useful it is. Now what about sun-dried tomatoes? They come in 2 forms. So if you are confused, or if you have seen in the supermarket that sometimes they are packed in some kind of in the plastic bag, or and sometimes they come in oil. So that's what we are going to talk. So I have few comments and I'm going to read them right now. I see Archana saying, I love sun-dried tomatoes. Yes, me too. They are amazing. They are very, very yummy. And Chroma Ras here is saying, I use it in mushrooms and sun-dried tomato quesadilla. Oh my god, that sounds very interesting. We would really like to have at least one of the recipe which you have been sharing with us all along. So please, Chroma, share something with us. Okay, so next time we will wait for it. And then we will switch on to what exactly is dry packed tomatoes. Now the tomatoes which are dried in the sun or in the oven, and they are packed in a plastic. Usually you get them in a packet, and those are the dry ones. And the other ones are, some of them are actually packed in they are submerged in the oil. So the dried ones, they are submerged in the oil, and then they have added flavorings like they have herbs and garlic or some kind of spices in them, and those are the ones which you get the oil based tomatoes, and they are also called as oil packed tomatoes. And I am using one of these oil packed tomatoes. They look like Indian pickle, but this is sun-dried tomato in olive oil, and it smells so good right now here. But I use them in salad and also in pasta. I cut them and use them, and then at the end of this video I'm going to share what I did exactly with this sun-dried tomato last time, and how hit the recipe was at my place. And Arlene here is saying that yes, sun-dried tomatoes are delicious. I love them, and I'm sure you do too. But I have so many health benefits. After today you will be so glad that you love the flavor, the color, and also getting all the health benefits. Now how, if you don't have regular tomatoes in hand and you have these sun-dried tomatoes, maybe the dry ones, then what you can do is submerge them in water, in warm water for 10-15 minutes, and they get plump, and you can use them in your recipe if it calls for tomatoes. But if you have the oil, the oil packed tomatoes, then what you can you do is you just drain the oil and then cut the sun-dried the oil packed tomatoes, and then you can use those in your recipe as well. Now the best part is never throw that oil, because that oil has all the flavoring and all the even a little bit of health benefit of these tomatoes. So make sure you preserve the oil when you use the oil packed tomatoes, and I'll let you know how you can use it at the end of the video. Now we will really go on to these health benefits first, because this is the most important part. We know tomatoes are healthy, but when we hear about lycopene and how densely packed the lycopene is in the sun-dried tomatoes, please make sure you have these sun-dried tomatoes always handy. Now the first health benefit is that it is bone healthy. They are very bone healthy. Now antioxidant like lycopene is believed to decrease the oxidative stress, and it has this beneficial effects on bone health. Now how it does is actually lycopene plays a great role in bone health by helping bone bone building cells, and it also blocks the bone destroying cells. So it actually helps people to get less of the arthritis pain. Or one of the researchers stated that eating tomatoes and tomato products rich in lycopene can be actually considered as one of the alternative medication for osteoporosis. So that's also the research done. So just eating the tomatoes and tomato products can actually add to your bone health. So if your family is prone towards osteoporosis or any kind of bone degenerative disease, then make sure you add tomatoes in some form, and if not, just keep these sun-dried tomatoes handy. So today we are going to explore all about sun-dried tomatoes. So now the second one is heart healthy tomatoes, sun-dried tomatoes. Now how are they heart healthy? This is also so regarding lycopene, there are so many research is done that you have to, even if you don't take away anything from this video today, make sure please you remember that lycopene, the tomatoes contains lycopene, and it is great for bone health, it is great for heart health, and it is great against every type of cancer. So please remember it. Now just quickly before going to our second health benefit, I'm reading this comment. Thank you for great educative series, wishing you the thank you so much, Nimisha. I'm so glad you were able to watch most of those videos. Keep in touch, we are going to have many more of these kind of videos, or new series is coming up, so stay tuned. Okay, in our second health benefit, we are talking about the study of the lycopene. The researchers observed that they observed 1400 people, okay, and then out of them, half of them had the heart problems. So now what the researchers did is they focused on the powerful antioxidants. They focused on what the people were eating and what kind of antioxidants they were actually consuming. And one was vitamin E, the other one was beta carotene, and one was lycopene. Now after the research, they found out that lycopene was linked to lower rate of heart attacks. So lycopene was the most important one there. Now how does lycopene help it to get the heart stronger or make the arteries flexible? So it does it in three ways. The first is by blocking the formation of LDL cholesterol, that is the bad cholesterol, by thinning the blood, and also by lowering the high blood pressure by balancing the blood pressure. Now this was one of the study, and in one more interesting study with 21 healthy people, they asked the people to eat the lycopene rich diet. So what they did is they asked all of those people, subjects they call, but we'll call it person, that they should have for 3 weeks they should consume 2 ounces of tomato juice and 1 ounce of ketchup. Okay, so what happened after 3 weeks, the LDL cholesterol of these people, it dropped by 13%, and their overall total cholesterol dropped by 6% just in 3 weeks by consuming tomatoes. And also tomato juice and the ketchup, and their overall heart health was they saw that it actually was better than what they had 3 weeks before. So that's how effective just having these tomato based products is important. And again, I won't stop stressing the fact that lycopene is very, very densely packed in these sun-dried tomatoes. And the study just now I told you guys was from the book called Healing Spices by Dr. Bharat Agrawal. Now let's see our third health benefit, and how these tomatoes are they can resist from any kind. That can be so helpful in treating cancer, or how they can protect you from getting cancer. And especially the lot of research have been done regarding the prostate cancer and the breast cancer. Now many studies have been conducted on tomato, lycopene, and prostate cancer, and results shown that eating tomato based foods regularly can help prevent and even treat the prostate gastric cancer. So they have actually named so many, all kinds of cancer: breast cancer, colon cancer, brain cancer, pancreatic, bladder, cervix, liver, stomach. So basically all kinds of cancer they have been doing the studies on the people as well as on animals. But in short, lycopene is loaded with antioxidant and anti-carcinogenic properties, which is very excellent in preventing and treating cancer. So make sure you use these tomatoes very regularly. And if you are not sure about having, these sometimes there is some shortage of tomatoes, or you don't have the good quality of them, so make sure you always have the sun-dried tomato handy, and because they can last at least 6 months in the refrigerator, and I think at least 6 months and more than that probably, but we always use it within 3 months, so I don't even know how long it lasts. But this one is our favorite, and it is actually the oil packed one, the olive oil packed one. Now if you want to make your own sun-dried tomato at home, the first one is you can make it by drying in sun. But if you don't have enough, it's a lot of humidity, and if you don't have enough of this very sunlight, then what you can do is you can dry them in oven. Now for the first step, it's cut the tomatoes. You can slice them, then arrange them, and preferably don't take away the seeds, because the seeds have a lot of nutrition packed. So make sure you leave the seeds. But if you don't like the taste, or you don't like them biting under your teeth, then it's okay, you can take them out. Now arrange the slices on parchment paper on the oven, on the trays, oven trays or any kind of trays, and then make sure the slices doesn't touch each other, and then sprinkle with a little salt, and then place the trays in the sun every morning and take them in at night. Do this for a couple of days. So at the start of the video I said it can be from 4 days to 14 days depending on the sunlight, how stronger is the sun. So depending on that. One more idea is, if you have a dehydrator, then you can do this sun-dried tomatoes in your dehydrator, and the settings probably you'll have to check, and if you have been using this dehydrator, you might be knowing it as well. But one more other simple way is making the sun-dried tomato at home in the oven. Now again, cut them in slices, arrange them on the parchment paper in the oven tray. Make sure the slices don't touch each other. Then sprinkle with salt and preheat the oven to 150 degree or 200 degree Fahrenheit, the minimum one. Put the trays in the oven and let it be there for at least 8 to 10 hours, and you have to check them often. So make sure that there is absolutely no moisture left, because what happens is, even if little bit of water content, then the bacteria will start multiplying, and we don't want any kind of a problem with them. So make sure please that if you are making it at home, it is super dry. Now for storage, store in a sealed container in the refrigerator. For if it is homemade, make sure you use it within couple of days, maybe a week maximum. But if it is store-bought, I'm sure they have the date, so you can always look into it. Now in the kitchen, how can you use the sun-dried tomato? The most important and a very easy one is you can eat it for a snack. Then you can chop and use it in the soups or stews or sauces, and it gives a very rich color and flavor, and also a very unique taste of the sun-dried tomato. That if you add it at the end of the cooking, it's actually better. And for the Indian curries, if you make the cauliflower or the cabbage curry, chop some and then add them at the end with cilantro. It gives a very unique, different flavor to your regular curry, and of course it is very healthful. Now replace the fresh tomatoes in the sandwich with these sun-dried ones, and I do it often, and it is very good. And especially I do this for the pesto sandwich, or even with the hummus. So if you make a sandwich with a little bit of hummus on it, make sure you add the sun-dried tomatoes, because it makes different. It actually takes the sandwich taste to the next level. That's what my son says. Now chop the tomatoes and add it to the tuna or chicken or even the regular green salad. Now the most and very easy is any kind of pasta. You can chop these sun-dried tomatoes and add in any kind of pasta. They go very well with the store-bought pasta sauce, and it goes very well with any kind of pasta you make at home, even the regular ziti, the baked ziti. Or I haven't tried it on lasagna, so I don't know, but then you can always try and let me know. Now remember, I was telling that I'll tell you at the end of the video that how I use it. So what I did is I make my own pesto at home. So I added basil, and I use these walnuts because they are great for brain health. And I added walnut, of course, olive oil, garlic, and instead of adding regular olive oil, what I did is I added these couple of sun-dried tomatoes, and I added the oil from the olive oil which these are submerged in, and a little bit of salt. But the pesto was so yummy, and it was so unique because the oil already had a lot of flavorings in it, and the pesto it wasn't the regular one which we usually have. So that was a very unique idea, and it just resonated with me so much. And whoever I have given and whoever had tasted those sandwiches, the pesto sandwiches, they were amazing. They were very yummy. So next time you try it, and if you didn't get the recipe right now, I will make it and I'll post the video so that it will be easy for you. But this pesto sauce which I talked right now, you can use it on the pasta also. So you can have the pesto pasta, or you can have these pesto sandwiches with them. So that is one of the idea. And you can also add a little bit of olive oil and maybe lemon juice or vinegar, and you can use the same pesto as a garnishing for your or a salad dressing. So that is also one of the idea. Now, one of the very important bonus tip and a takeaway from today's video is tomato and broccoli together are super effective against any kind of cancer. Now, this was a very, very important fact I learned from the research of this tomatoes. But we know that being from cruciferous family, broccoli is excellent. It is very famous for for fighting against cancer, and tomato, because of its lycopene content, it's also super effective against cancer. But in one of the researchers at the University of Illinois, scientists found that broccoli and tomato together, they are more effective, and they can reduce the risk of prostate cancer and other cancer. Instead of acting on their own, if they are blocked together, if they work together, then they become more effective. That's what the study revealed. So this was all about sun-dried tomato, and they are super healthy. They are jam-packed with vitamins and minerals and phytochemicals and phytonutrients and antioxidants. So make sure you use them. There were many of other spices which were in line, but we chose this one, and we chose rosemary, and the last ones were like, which we thought they are very readily available, but we don't know how important they are. That's why we went with these, and these are the 52 spices. We did this series for a year. We have many ideas coming up. So one more week, maybe next week, like I promised, I'll show my setup. Next Tuesday, I'll show how we did it. What is this exactly? What kind of kitchen is this? What are the lights? And who is behind the camera? That's what we are going to show next week. And after that, we will keep working on another series. It might not be Facebook Live. It might be just videos or something. We haven't thought about it. Maybe we'll do a poll for a week and we'll let you guys know. But this was a very, very fantastic journey, and we are so blessed that with you guys we explored 52 spices, and most 99% of them are from India. They are exported from India, and we use them. We use them there, and we hardly had any knowledge how useful or beneficial they are. Of course, we like them. That's why we use them. But most of our people, they like it. A lot of people who meet me, they tell me how they love this series, how important it is. So now again, I just want to make sure that if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do. If you haven't went on our website and registered, make sure you do, because there are all the blogs of all these 52 spices. So if you don't have time to watch the videos, I totally understand. Go ahead and read quickly, and there are just health benefits and quick tips how to use them in kitchen. So that is done. You can always see these videos on YouTube, because sometimes in Facebook feed you are not able to keep the track. So make sure you do that you subscribe and stay tuned. Keep in touch, and thank you very much for always joining me now, and thank you very much for all of who join me later on the YouTube and watch the videos later. Thank you for my Instagram fans who watch me on Instagram. So thank you very much, and see you next week for you guys to know what kind of setup we have here in this room. Thanks. Bye.